Hello and welcome to the Bucket List Show. I'm Tammy Crandall with Journ Adventure Travel and Tours and Barron Real Estate, and I'm joined by my co-host
Rebecca Denise from Barron Real Estate and Superior Storage.
And we are here to serve you so we can help you fill your bucket to live your most abundant life. And what that means for you and for us can be very different. Some examples could be, and we've talked about, you heard us, we're going to talk about Hawaii until we finally get her to Hawaii. And, or having an experience for the first time, being able to serve your community. So we bring on a variety of guests to help us with that and to help you, provide you with some ideas and inspiration to help improve your life. Buying property can be a bit stressful.
Absolutely. Crazy.
Also upkeeping, keeping up the maintenance on your existing property can be very stressful. So when you need someone to inspect, you've got to choose someone who has your best interest in mind and can provide you with the right information needed to make the best decision, whether that's selling or buying or simply trying to determine, should I be making improvements that are actually going to add value to improve my home.
And you want to map that out and budget that and have the right people.
Absolutely. And so we have brought on a special guest. He joins us periodically, and that special guest is Calvin Johnson with Visita Home Inspection and Services. Is that correct?
Yep, you got it.
All right, welcome, Calvin.
Thank you so much. Glad to be here again.
I know. Welcome.
Thank you so much for joining us today. We're going to focus. I was noticing you've got so much great information on your website.
Yeah.
You really, really do. Full of great information that will help educate people as to what they should be doing for their home. So we're going to focus today on home maintenance reports.
Okay, great.
I found that was kind of an interesting topic because sometimes you don't think about doing an inspection for your existing home.
Right.
Okay. You think more of, I'm buying or selling. Right. And so why home maintenance? Why regular home maintenance inspections? Why would someone do that?
Well, normally because of the fact that it will prevent unexpected cost.
Okay.
On things that can go wrong or could have been prevented. And so such as a water heater that's breaking when you go on vacation.
Right.
And so it can cost you a lot of money.
Yes. It
If we would have kind of like had a maintenance done beforehand, it kind of could have looked at a unit that was already started to leak or corrode and stuff. So those type of things, even with air conditioning stuff, if you do proper maintenance with air conditioning, they can last a long time.
Right.
And not break down on a Sunday where now you got to pay overtime.
90 degrees in Florida.
And isn't that the case? It always happens that way. There isn't anybody out there that you're not having their water heater, if it's exploding, it's always after hours on a Friday.
That's it.
Or a holiday weekend.
Yeah.
That's what happened to ours. It exploded on a weekend and everything soaked, saturated.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It takes
unexpected. Yeah. It does.
Right. And so having that regular maintenance, how often would you say that someone should do that to make sure those things are running in their home?
I would say at least once a year.
Once a year.
Yep.
Okay.
Once a year is pretty good.
Okay.
For most homeowners and stuff. And then if you got the more family you have at home and the more use of the appliances and everything like that, then maybe twice.
See, he's putting the fear in me now.
Well, because you have lots of
because I got a
all
village.
these multi-families, but
Yeah,
everyone is together. So if someone buys a house today, we're saying on average you should go within a year.
Right.
So when they buy the house and you do the inspection, do you give them like a cheat sheet or something so they know that they have to change the filter or maybe put some water vinegar in that little AC thing or gutters, whatever?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And that's exactly what we do. We have it set up that once we do a maintenance on your home, then we send you a text reminder on things that we were asked that you would look at.
Great.
Over the year, and that way you're not forgetting anything. And so, and you're it's pretty simple. It's a pretty much do-it-yourself type of maintenance chart that you can look at or go through and do it yourself. And you can also send us pictures. You can text pictures on things that in your home, and we can look at it and see if it's something that needs attention or something.
Like the water heater's overflowing and they send a picture. Does this look normal? No.
Right, there you go. Absolutely. You sure can.
But it's a learning curve, especially for first-time home buyers. Tammy and I were both bankers. They don't leave, the banks don't say, well, put an extra $5,000 if you have a leak or the stove goes and things of that nature. So,
right.
At least in the beginning, it is a struggle just to make sure everything is going the way you want it to go.
Right, absolutely. And the amount of money that one should set aside could be also a certain amount that you're going to depend on the family size and stuff like that, and the equipment that you have and the usage. Okay. So, take for instance, if you have a newer home, well, it's less maintenance, less money you have to set aside because you're in a warranty stage where you probably just have to cover basically labor, but materials is covered by the manufacturer. But once you get past that warranty stage, then you got to set a little bit more aside as far as replacement cost. We do that also for commercial properties. And so if we give it an evaluation on a commercial property that can do predictions on when things should be replaced or when things are going to fail.
Right. So you're looking at the life expectancy then, right? Right,
exactly. Okay. So when a business buys a place, they have a pretty good idea of what to budget for in a certain year or time that those things are going to have to be.
See, now that's really interesting to me because, I would say not just myself, but even, the common layperson who's not in this business wouldn't think that an inspector would even focus on the budgeting aspect or helping that. And that can be very helpful to those people who are, maybe they're new to investing in a residential for rent property, that sort of thing. So that can help them.
Oh, absolutely. It's definitely going to help you with your taxes, your setting money aside for those type of things. And also cost wise, where you realize that it's an investment property. So your customer pays for those things that that you're going to have to replace during those time periods.
Yeah, it helps you to appropriately budget.
Right. Yeah. Right. Absolutely. Yeah. It's called property assessment.
Okay.
And stuff. So we use numbers and data and stuff like that to can predict when things should be replaced.
So a year down the road, when we do the home inspection on the property, are you doing exactly what you did the first time, or you're looking at key items like the AC or the water heater, things like that?
Yeah, similar to the home inspection, just a little less, more invasive on the appliances, things, big ticketed items and stuff. Far as is it batteries, as far as batteries on smoke detectors, we can tell you, those are type things that we can give you an assessment. Say, okay, your battery's been in a smoke detector for 5 years. It's time to replace it, even though it's not beeping right now.
Or you just take it out of from the wall and put it in my drawer.
Oh yeah.
There could be a reason why it's not beeping.
Yeah, right, exactly.
The battery's been dead for a while.
A long time. Yeah.
I twisted mine and put it in the drawer.
Yeah, and we find that a lot. Where homeowners that smoke detector went off at 3:00 in the morning, and I mean, they just take that thing down and throw it out in the garage.
Well, yes. And that's usually what happens with those smoke detectors, because just like we talked about the inconvenience of the water heater going out over the weekend, it's the same thing with smoke detectors. You don't hear them beep at all day long.
And then you think you're good.
Until the house is quiet and it's 1:00 in the morning and all of a sudden the beeping starts. And then you start the search because you've got multiples and you're trying to figure out where that beeping sound's coming from.
Well, even like the dryer vent, people forget to. I mean, I'm one of those.
Absolutely.
But people forget to clean the dryer vents and and even all that. There could be a lot of hazards.
Yes.
Yeah,
that's true.
Exactly. And because those things are not checked, then what happens is they fail prematurely or they fail at the wrong time.
Of course. Right.
And then you're stuck scrounging and looking for
ways to get them fixed.
Or they're not working properly and it's costing you more money each month,
Right.
Like if you don't change the filter in the AC, that would...
absolutely.
Exactly. And so but some of the biggest things that we find that homeowners have leaks under foundations.
Wow.
And they never see it. It never comes up through the floor. But yet, there's leaks underneath the house. The oldest one we had, lady had a leak in her house for about 10 years.
Wow.
but it was a sole leak. So she figured that it was just the normal cost of, the water and stuff. But then when she went to sell it, and we did the inspection, we discovered that once the water was completely turned off, it was still running.
Oh,
And
my.
so she was 10
Right,
years. Can you imagine 10 years?
10 years of
Yeah,
higher
that's a
bills
long
than you really
time.
needed to pay.
That's it. Yeah, it was
Wow.
enough to add a
Yeah,
lot.
I had a water break in a house in Port St. Lucie, and the city called me and they said, you used 30,000 gallons of water. I'm like, no, I didn't.
Right.
But there was a leak. But it took like 3 or 4 weeks to figure it out that it was on their pipes going into the system, into the HOA. But yeah, 30,000 gallons in like a whole week span.
Yeah.
So it could be expensive.
Yes, it can be.
Yes.
And, yeah.
So what happens if the leak's under the house though?
And so, well, it depends on where. Also, underneath the house, but those things can be fixed. It
Okay.
can be rerouted or through the
Okay.
attic and stuff. Sometimes you got to open up the walls, but now most time it's just rerouted. It's capped off wherever that leak's at, and then everything's ran through.
Okay. So
The
that's
attic.
an option.
Now, is
Yeah.
that the kind of thing that your company does, where you have partners that you work with that does that kind of work? Or?
Right. We have both. We have the equipment to detect pretty much the exact spot
Oh,
underground.
Isn't it amazing?
Yeah, it is.
It is. It's the way we, technology and things.
It definitely changes. It's
Amazing
going
yourself.
It's
Yeah.
going to get.
And it doesn't involve a triangular stick.
Yeah.
Right.
You're not poking the ground.
Yeah. And some of the technology that we use now, it eliminates the guesswork
Yeah.
out
Oh,
of
that's
It
good.
is.
thinking that it's over here or thinking that it's over there.
And it saves the customer, the end person, so much money versus, putting a hole here and going through that one.
Right. Yeah.
You know,
A
so
lot,
at least
That's
it's
true.
minimal and you could try to contain it.
right. Yeah. A lot of companies don't have the equipment we have, and they don't have the experience. Sometimes the owners of the company can find the leaks, but perhaps their employees are
Right.
just your
They're newer.
hourly salary. They don't have the experience of the owners and
Right.
the sometimes the equipment
Right.
that
But
we have.
that is awesome that you're continually investing in your company
Yes.
to get the equipment. If it's water or mold, all those
Right.
things.
Yeah.
It's fabulous.
But that brings up a very good point in that, you want somebody who's a quality
yeah.
inspector. You want someone who has got, appropriate training, certification. So with that in mind, I mean, obviously we're focusing on you. So what should a person be looking for in those types of inspections? What type of person do you, besides, call Calvin,
Right.
what should the qualifications be for someone that?
Experience and a lot of it's going to be the key. As far as like we have over 20 years of experience
Okay.
in home inspection, so so it's kind of like almost a second natural thing for us to be able to know, and also because of the amount of things we have seen, so all those things add up to it to make us a better company. And then of course we invest in a lot of latest equipment and stuff
Of
like that, and
course.
we test different equipment
Oh, good.
Correct.
and stuff. So we don't buy one piece of equipment and assume that works. We buy maybe two different
Right.
pieces of equipment, and then we find which works best. And
Good for you.
some are backed up for other equipment.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah,
And-
so we
and you-
constantly
You do want experience. You want someone who understands
Yeah.
what they're doing. 20 years is huge, especially in this area and having the equipment.
right. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. It's really it really boils down to the equipment. Having the right equipment, investing into the equipment, and then training. We and nighttime is pretty much where I do all the studying and
Okay.
testing and stuff, because we're constantly testing our equipment
Oh,
Wow.
good.
and practicing and developing skills to make the use of our equipment even better
Oh, that's
and
fantastic.
stuff. So even though perhaps let's say we don't have a water leak job to go find, we're still practicing how to find a water leak in
Right.
certain situations and stuff.
So when you're doing the maintenance report, so you're going to give all the information they need so they know what to expect if they're good, or there's a certain timeline that, maybe this has 6 months life expectancy.
Right.
So that's what you're given. And then if there's a lot of people, maybe more than once.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. And so you can almost not a crystal ball because we don't know when
Right.
things are going
Right.
to break, but definitely a projection of when things
Right.
should be replaced or when things are expected to start giving you cost you more to have.
Right. And do you give them suggestions as far as, light bulbs or anything like that to help with certain filters?
Right, absolutely.
Okay,
And
good.
stuff. So we do have that also available to
Okay.
you.
And I think people need that,
Right.
especially the first time home buyers. I just helped someone who bought a brand new construction, and there's already one or two issues. And she chose not to do a home inspection because they had said it's a new, you don't need to.
Right.
There was 31 inspections as far as the town and Planning. And I said, well, you always do because it's another set of eyes.
Right.
So she has a warranty, but for those who may not have a warranty, this is something you definitely need. It's a huge investment
Right.
not to do an inspection.
Exactly. The
It's a
amount you
health
pay
and
us is a drop in the
safety
bucket
factor.
compared.
Well, and that's exactly it. And I think we've discussed that before
Yeah.
in the past where, when, and it's not saying bad about the builder,
Right.
You
Yeah,
know,
No, right.
it's just-
but they've got their
Just double-
punch list or their checklist and
Yeah.
they can say they've done X, Y, and Z and done through all those things. But it really helps to have that third uninterested party in the transaction.
Right. Yes.
Yeah, no, it's another
Yep.
set of eyes. It's,
Yeah.
It's like your attorney or your title company looking at your legal docs or the
Absolutely.
documents that, the realtor does. The whole point is all those partners on demand to
Right.
make it easier.
Exactly.
But the maintenance report also, I would imagine, would be important also just to kind of stage it for the insurance if something ever happened.
Right.
You could say, well, here's, I did this in June and we had a hurricane in August.
Right.
Knock on wood.
It-
The reports that you put together for clients, are they formatted for a person's computer, for their phone? Do they get it in paper? How is that delivered?
You get it all those different ways. You get a
Okay.
hard copy, email copy, and a text copy. So all that stuff stays on your phone, computer, and then we keep a copy on file. So anytime you need that, it's extremely easy for us to send it over to you again right away.
Okay. Now, if somebody's doing a purchase for a home, is that a report that you provide directly to them to provide to their lender, or are you in communication with their lenders at that point? Or?
No, more so directly with the person that hired us,
Okay, gotcha.
and then they can distribute your paperwork to whoever they want to have
gotcha.
a copy of it.
Makes sense.
And so
Yeah, because if you give it to the lender, then whatever's on there, they may be.
I know. Well, and I get it. I'm just clarifying.
I would
Clarifying the rules.
but it's also good to have it because of the fact that it's used to help mitigate the claims that you might have with your insurance company. Say the water heater fell and prematurely, an insurance company would argue that it failed because of the fact of poor maintenance.
Oh,
And so if insurance company can blame it on you as opposed to just normal wear and tear, they would, they can
so
do
it
it.
really
they can do
isn't
that.
a client's or a person's, a homeowner's best interest for them to do a regular maintenance annually.
Right.
Because then they've got proof or evidence that, listen, I bring an inspector in every year. I haven't looked through everything I have. We did not cause this issue. You can see right here from the reports over the last 5 years or whatever.
Right.
very good
Absolutely.
point. Yeah, it makes
And it has been used for that
Oh,
Right.
case, even through court cases where,
So
insurance company says it was
there you go.
your
There's
fault.
your evidence.
Right. Yeah.
So on the water heater that broke for me, it was because the top rusted and it was in the garage.
Right.
Is that typical? Because Connecticut,
Right. Definitely. Because
everything.
because most time that thing's out of sight, out of mind.
Okay.
And so, and the only way you know is when you turn on the water, you don't have any hot water.
Yeah.
Or
That's a clue.
or you notice everything in the garage is wet. That's usually
This
when
one
people discover
exploded from
that.
the top.
all of a sudden you have no pressure.
Yeah, that, you get all of that and stuff, and people build boxes around it so that thing can get boxed in and nobody gets to see
Nobody
it
sees what's happening at that point.
for a long time.
Wow.
And stuff. So it happens. It's still I don't think it would change, but it's there.
Well,
Now's a reason to do the maintenance.
Absolutely.
That's
Yeah,
another
because we will
reason.
see it.
Right.
Now, as always, we have a lot of great information. We're going to bring this back in to stay somewhat on this topic, but with new construction. And so we're going to take a 2-minute break and we'll be right back. Journey Venture Travel and Tours, where it's about your journey, not just the destination. Picture a world full of amazing places yet to be discovered. Where do you begin? Whether your bucket list includes cruising in the Caribbean, exploring vast nature in Alaska,
or experiencing exotic worldwide places, we're here to help you fill your bucket to live your most abundant life. Your journey begins from the moment you let go and let us handle the details for you. So call us today. Journ Adventure Travel and Tours, 772-882-3165.
Welcome back, everyone. I am Rebecca Denise, co-host of The Bucket List with Tammy, and we still have Calvin with us. I just wanted to remind everyone the reason that we started the Bucket List show is so we could serve you to live your most abundant life. And that's different for all of us. So we all have our own little list and things of that nature, but that's the way that we wanted to serve and give back. So we're going to continue on with Calvin. So Calvin, regarding new construction, what is the 11-month warranty inspection from the builder? Did I say that? I may have said that backwards.
Right. No, that's
okay.
That's fine.
So the warranty that the builder's going to give for the new construction.
Okay, and that's things that are beyond the normal of the house being constructed and settled. As far as like the appliances,
Okay.
failing or not working and stuff like that. Also, the house settlement, roof material, as far as the roofing, doors not closing, opening,
Okay.
Those type things, base trim pulling away from the house, nail pops.
Right. Or you get a crack.
Right, you
So,
get cracks and stuff.
If someone's buying a new construction, if we piggyback what we were saying, so the warranty is only good for 11 months. So you want to get you in there prior
Right,
for it to expire, because most of us would not see the things that you're going to see.
right.
Well, and then sometimes it's the little things, right?
Right.
It's the little things you don't think about. For example, you walk through a new house, everything is glossy and shiny and new.
Right.
But 5 months after getting in there, you notice that your commode is like an amusement ride.
Right. Yep.
Made you come up with that.
I'm just saying it wiggles. It like wiggles. You're like,
I
all of a
was
sudden you're
going
like,
with, like,
and
mold
I'm sorry, but the toilet shouldn't move back and forth, right?
Right.
Right. I mean,
agree.
that's
It should.
it should move back and forth. So it's little things like that, because you can flood a whole bathroom.
Yep.
Oh yeah,
So plumbing
Yeah.
could end up leaking.
Or mold or
it-
something in the attic.
Yeah. Yeah.
A big question I have, in regards to some of these new constructions, I know for a while, years back, we had an issue with Chinese drywall,
Right.
that whole thing.
Absolutely.
Are we seeing any issues with that
You
now?
we still come across it
Uh-huh.
and stuff. It's far in between, but we still see it
Okay.
and stuff, because of the fact that not everybody followed through or pursued,
Mm-hmm.
getting rid of it or
Mm-hmm.
or had issues with it in itself.
Okay.
And,
Okay.
as far as like we had one house that still had it, but it didn't cause the appliances and stuff to fail,
Mhm.
but it still had Chinese drywall.
Wow.
And the smell that was in the house was constantly always covered in masked by different equipment and the air conditioning and just different
Wow.
things like that
Gotcha.
and stuff. But yet they had Chinese drywall.
Wow.
Mhm, mhm.
So
Yeah.
on a new construction, would you ever recommend that you would inspect as the stages? The bank goes inspect, the town, city. Would you recommend that for a new
Yeah.
construction?
And we
Okay.
do that as well, because a lot of times things are, the framing and the structure is covered up with sheetrock, so it's a little bit harder.
And especially if it's a couple of days and you pour and a couple of days happens, now that's
Right. Exactly.
Are the builders receptive to that, or are they a little mixed?
Yeah, we haven't seen any of them go behind and fix anything. They usually say that's allowed. Well, that's okay. So there's a
That's an
An allowance
allowable
of-
statement.
there's an allowance that they can get away with.
Right.
And so,
Right.
as far as maybe stuff that a person with a keen eye or eye that's detailed or
Right.
Well,
Go ahead.
no, I'm
So
sorry.
that's just another thing to reinforce that you want the inspection prior to the 11-month warranty. Go. Sorry.
Well, yeah. So that way, you've got some time to have that repercussion.
Yeah.
You're not waiting
Right.
for that. One of the things that when I was looking through your site as well, it talks about some of the things you might see as like an improper roof vent.
right. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Installation, is that a pretty common thing, you think?
Yep. We see it. We see homes that have the past insulation,
Mhm.
but there's no insulation. So
Oh, that's creepy.
yeah,
That's not good.
we've seen quite a few of that
Mhm.
in new construction. And
So it's probably in a person's best interest, since most of us, and I say us liberally,
Yeah.
Most of us, when we get our home and we get into it, we're not climbing into our attics.
No, you're not.
We're just not doing that, right?
We can tell the toilet's crooked and wobbling, but not the attic.
That's it.
Right.
Yeah.
But
That's true.
speaking of attics, do they put what about fans? So you're sucking out the hot air, especially with people have the dark colored roof, so the top of their house is burning.
Right, yeah. So it depends on the ventilation because you got the soffit ventilation, you got the gable end ventilations and roof vents and stuff like that. So all that plays into it.
That makes a difference to get the air out.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
And oftentimes we're not, we could tell if the house is properly ventilated, by our inspections and stuff like that.
So when you're doing inspection on the 11-month new construction warranty, what are the typical things that maybe you do find on a new construction? Is it already what we said, or is
Right,
there something?
that and then some things that more so was it done right during the construction itself that got covered up.
Yeah, was it grout and not toothpaste?
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
hard,
I mean,
though,
I know
so-
that sounds terrible.
Yeah, but it happens and stuff, and we see, just like painted bathtubs, we see people
Painted, yeah.
spray paint a bathtub with
Glossy finish. And,
with Krylon spray paint.
Right.
That stuff doesn't hold
wow. No.
at all. It only looks good for a moment, and then you start taking showers and stuff. It wears itself out.
So the pickle about it, though, is you go into, let's say, an HOA, new community, and you find, ABC wrong. Now, now it's the other 1,000 units. You don't know if it's isolated or not.
Right.
Do you do pool inspections, anything like that?
Right. Yeah,
Also,
we do pool inspections. We have
too,
equipment
Lanai's?
to find leaks and
Wow.
things like that.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't realize that, too.
Yeah, we can actually find leaks with the equipment that we have.
No. Do you do that specifically on particular pool types? Because I know specifically here on the Treasure Coast, we've got some that got like vinyl linings and some that are concrete, right?
Right. Yeah. So, and of course, we can do both, and we know from experience what areas are more prone to have had leaks or will leak,
Oh,
and those are more paid attention to.
yeah,
Okay.
and that in itself, the amount of money that you
Oh,
can
geez.
save. once
Oh,
you get that-
absolutely. A pool leak can really cost you a lot of money.
Even to put
True.
in the pool, it's crazy.
Yes, that's
Yeah,
true.
or a waiting list, at least around here. So that's good that you could inspect
Right.
that as well.
Right. Exactly. And so we give all that type of advice and stuff like that, because most time inspectors don't do a pool inspection, or they don't have the proper equipment to do the inspection. They
Right.
maybe look at the water levels or some of the basic conditions and stuff like that, and says, okay, the water looks good, but not realizing that
Yeah.
the best way to do a pool inspection is to put listening devices on
Okay.
areas that we know that are prone to leaks.
Well, that's
Oh.
amazing.
Yeah.
Another
That's-
tool.
I would never think.
I
of
wouldn't
that.
have thought either. I just would have looked for
Right,
water.
yeah, exactly, and stuff. And we've seen people add
Well, you're
water
the
before we
house
get there.
detective.
Yeah,
See?
yeah.
He
Yeah.
is. He's a
Yeah.
house detective.
People have-
That's true, because I wouldn't know anything. So I just kind of go. It's like driving
That's-
a car. You turn it on, it starts.
That's right. That's why you call us to
Yeah.
find those things
Yeah.
for you. We're your advocate and stuff like that.
Good for you.
And people do add water to the pool before we get there.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yep.
Costs them a fortune.
Yep.
So I know in the past we've shared. So you're available 6 days a week, 7 days a week.
7 days a week. You can
So,
always call.
You'll work on making an easy, convenient, fast schedule,
Yes.
especially since, most people it's going to be outside of business hours.
Right.
You meet with the customer and the agent, or definitely the customer?
Well,
or how does that work?
whoever hires
Whoever
us to
wants
call
to
us.
go?
Right.
Okay.
Mhm.
And,
good.
and stuff. So it becomes a really educational experience for everybody that shows up.
Mhm.
So do you walk and talk them through it as you're doing it, or you're just doing your thing and then give them the
We're
report?
doing it, and then and
Nice.
sometimes the customer just sits there and watch, and then we'll explain to them what we're doing, what we're looking for.
Oh, good. Well,
in
that
areas and
teaches
stuff.
them too, so
Yeah,
that helps.
absolutely. And then and stuff. And we do inspection videos and stuff, so we can actually we share with them exactly what was done.
Oh, that's
But it-
So
fantastic.
you're videoing the whole inspection?
Yeah,
Oh,
Yeah.
You should give us a copy of that.
All right, we'll do
with
that.
the customer's
We'll-
approval.
yeah,
Yes.
we'll,
Don't
we'll
want
do
them in
that.
trouble.
And
Yeah.
stuff.
Oh, that's
'Cause you
neat.
get-
I didn't
'cause we get a-
realize that.
Yeah, we got a lot of out of town buyers
Right.
and
Yes.
stuff that don't show up for the inspection. So we give them kind of like that added peace of mind by recording
Nice.
the actual inspection.
I
Oh,
think you're the
that's
first one that I know of that.
We're
is
the only
actually
one that
work-
does
Good
that.
for you. See, another
See,
reason
Yeah.
to use Calvin.
We're the
That's
only
right.
one that
Yeah,
does
that's
it. And
fabulous.
stuff. and so
And that's another thing to protect you, you know, I mean,
Oh,
that
absolutely.
we need to keep on, you know, compiling things. But if something happens, again, it's just that
Yeah.
baseline.
Yeah.
You know.
And so, you know, so buying a house but not showing up to put an inspection is just as good as
Right.
if you were
makes a
actually
difference.
there, because now you have that
Right.
documented video.
And if you do a home inspection and they find things, is the customer calling you back to do a re-inspection?
Right. After those
Okay.
things are
So, yeah, that
after
would
those
make
things
sense, too.
are fixed, then we'll go back or
Make sure it's good or get the documentation.
right and update
Okay.
the reports and stuff like that.
So you're busy throughout the whole transaction, and then even afterwards.
Right. We still stay. You still got our number. You can still call
Right.
us
Well,
long after the inspection. 2, 3, 4, 5
Yeah.
years later, still
well,
call
that's
us.
how you build a relationship
Right.
with us. You know, you want to keep those people there and still
Yeah.
service them. So good for you.
Yeah,
amazing.
and on average, the home inspection photos. I mean, we probably take 200-300 photos of your home. So
Wow.
your home is real detailed. You won't see that many photos unless it's necessary. But
Right.
we got
break them
that
down.
that
Right.
that
Got the
much
breakdown if you
information.
need it.
Right.
So I have for our watchers to contact you, Calvin. So it's Calvin Johnson, and the best phone number is 772-224-5655.
Yes.
And then your website, which is bctahomeinspection.com, and then your email, calvinjohnson772@gmail.
Yes.
Is there anything that you wanted to add or anything that we missed maybe on the topic? Or
If anybody, okay, so if there's anybody that's going to spend major money for some repairs and they're unsure because of the prices that they're getting, they can call us and we can do the inspection on that piece of equipment or product or service and stuff like that, and give them an unbiased opinion, the best way to go, and whether or not the person is just selling what they sell. You know, as far as a roofer selling their roof,
What a great idea.
air conditioning guys selling
Well,
the
that's
air
fantastic.
conditioning. Because to those guys, they're going to sell their product. You know, they're not going to walk
course.
away and say, "No, you don't
Again,
need air
having that
conditioning."
third party.
Right, unbiased.
Another set of eyes. And
Yeah,
Got you.
especially in the day that we do have people that are being scammed for certain things with regard to housing.
right. Yeah, and
So now it's peace of mind.
yeah, and we've seen that a whole lot where people are replacing things that even are under warranty,
Mm-hmm.
but had to, those that call us, they're definitely fortunate, and then those that didn't call us, it's a little bit too late
Yeah.
because it's already been done.
Yeah, the remorse is
yeah,
settled
and
in.
then
But that's a very good point, Calvin. You know, I would consider that, we like to refer to that on our show as a drop in the bucket.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That really is a drop in the bucket.
yeah, it really is, and those are inexpensive inspections or advice that you can get
Right.
from a company that's not going to try to sell you the product.
Right.
That's right.
And people don't know again. So now if you think you're redoing something, it's another set of eyes, and it gives peace of mind and a comfort to the end person, the customer who owns the house. So that's
Right.
good.
Okay.
Mainly when you're going to spend significant amount of money
Yeah.
for
Right.
Yeah.
that item.
For improvements
Yeah.
or to replace.
Right, exactly, because
Mhm.
they still salespeople first.
That's right. That's true. That's true. That's true. Well, that brings us, I think, to the end of the show. And it always goes so quick.
Don't
And
it?
I thank you so
Bye.
much,
I
Calvin,
know.
for bringing great information
Thank you.
to our watchers, our listeners. Please make sure that you reach out to us with any questions, suggestions that you might have, topics you'd like to hear us go over on this show. Again, I'm Tammy Crandall with Journey Venture Travel and Tours and Barron Real Estate.
And I'm Rebecca Denise with Superior Storage and Barron Real Estate. Be kind, everybody.
Yes, if you need to reach any of us, I can be reached at 772-579-9536.
And I'm 203-482-7297.
Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next time.